It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This right here is Car Con Carne. Car Con Carne is a Q101 podcast. Can you believe that? It's weird, right?
It's terrestrial radio's changed.
It has. Car Con Carne is sponsored by Easy Automation, easy-automation.net. Turn your home into a smart home. Transform your entire living space with cutting-edge home automation. Experience seamless control over the audio, video, lighting, climate, security, everything. Embrace the future of smart living. It's your home, your rules, motherfucker. Get a free quote, hassle-free. Go to easy-automation.net or give my guy Dan a call at 630-730-3728. He'll let you know how easy it is to turn your dumb home into a smart home. Car Con Carne also brought to you by a book. This book right here.
Any book.
This book right here, 90 Days in the 90s, a rock and roll time travel story, the ultimate novel about the 90s and Chicago's music scene, written by Andy Fry. You may remember my guest, John Carruthers of Crust Fund Pizza, 1990s. Not a bad time to be around in Chicago.
No, the radio was good. The summers were hot, and, I've forgotten most of it.
Yeah. I suspect neither of us had a beard.
No.
Things were different.
No, they at Catholic school, they didn't let you have that.
Nope. Join record store owner Darby, the protagonist of this book right here, 90 Days in the 90s, as she jumps on the gray line and time travels back to her carefree 20s. Wouldn't you like to go back to your carefree 20s?
Yeah, I did. I mean, honestly, in my carefree 20s, I would drink too much and end up at the Howard stop, and that was what we called the gray line.
Fair enough. So Darby soaks up all the pop culture and rock and roll nostalgia you could ever imagine. To learn more, go to 90daysinthe90s.com or pick this book up on Amazon.com or wherever you buy books. One final programming note, John Carruthers of Crust Fund Pizza. Mm-hmm. On Thursday, May 15th, you can join me for a live on-stage recording of Car Con Carne in South Elgin, in bucolic South Elgin. Legit Dogs and Ice is the place, 322 South Randall Road. We'll have live music on stage from Karen Shook and Derision Cult, and more to be announced. Also, live comedy on stage from Chris Bongat. Craft brewer Carson Souza from Obscurity Brewing, all of them interviewed on stage. You can be part of it. More to be announced starting at 8:30 p.m. It's a school night, but it's a Thursday night. It's a going-out night, May 15th at Legit Dogs and Ice.
That's just fake Friday.
It is.
And
it is.
Can I ask, how do you get the car on the stage?
I'm cheating. I'm not actually bringing the car in.
Oh, it's just Con Carne then.
It's a remote. Yeah, it is. It is Con Carne. So John Carruthers is a returning guest. John Carruthers is in my front seat. I'm James Van Alstyne. John Carruthers is an author. He's a fundraiser. He's a civic-minded individual. He's a marketer. He's a pizza enthusiast. He's a pizza maker. He's a professional. He is all those things, and yet somehow more.
Yeah, I was on single-digit episode. I think I'm like the bed bugs you can't get rid of.
You are, and he is also the man behind this book right here, Super Pizza World, his brand new cookbook. We're going to get into that. Here's the thing. Crust Fund Pizza is something that he does out of his home and hand delivers in his alley. For those who are still unfamiliar with Crust Fund Pizza, it's going to be much easier if you explain the concept than if I do it.
Sure. So once a month, usually in my home, occasionally somewhere else. But let's talk about the core business. I put up a menu. I say, hey, this is a foundation or nonprofit or charitable enterprise we're supporting this month. Reserve a spot. I will show you where to put your money to donate. And when you donate and show me that donation receipt, I bring you out a hot and fresh tavern-style pizza. I have a core menu. I sell what we're going to have tonight, the most of anything. But we also have a goofy special every single month, and we have a lot of fun with it.
And the goofy special this month?
Goofy special this month is actually I'm turning the entire garage into a book club, and we all have to read a book. And I bought a bunch of pizza pans from 1984, and we're gonna do it up real good. But
I was going to ask about that. I got the email today about that.
But if you want, so next month, how we usually do it, a goofy tavern style special. It's going to be in honor of my dear friend Kelly Clarkson. It's going to be called. It's a shrimp elote pizza with charred peppers. It's going to be called Since You've Been Prawn.
Shrimp elote. Does shrimp go with, like, was it cotija cheese?
Yeah. You do a nice salty cheese. You do like a crema kind of sauce. The charred peppers really like bridge it between, because this is going to be like a white pie.
Right.
Some fresh herbs. It's delightful. You get pepper sweetness. You get pepper heat. You get that good shrimp flavor. You get the cooling crema. You get that blast of fresh herbs. It's going to be magic, just like Kelly, my bud.
I want to take a look at this pizza. It smells great. So you brought the Royko into the car, which is Italian sausage, hot giardiniera. For credibility's sake, do you say giardiniera or do you just say giardiniera?
I usually say giardiniera, or if I am talking about pizza at a bar, I just say jar and kind of smear the rest of the words across, the audioscape.
We'll talk about Crust Fund Pizza. Let's look at the pizza. Let me get the camera in position. This, again, is the Royko, named after legendary Chicago writer Mike Royko.
Yes, and his son and erstwhile local community guy, Sam, has had this. And
has he really?
Given it his stamp of approval, yeah. We had it over at Big Joe's. We took it into a bar with no food and ate it, and he said, Dad would have loved this, and I was into it.
Oh, this looks wonderful. I mean, it actually looks wonderful. Like, the colors look lovely on this.
I mean, yeah, that's not me. That's just the magic of giardiniera. Like how sometimes you have to stop and appreciate a waterfall, just like how nature does it up.
And you make your own giardiniera?
I do not. I write my own giardiniera recipe, but I cannot. I sell so much of this pizza, I cannot keep up in terms of fridge space and fermentation time with what I would need to produce to make this. So I use JP Graziano giardiniera.
Which, I mean, come on.
The best.
Right.
Or I'll occasionally use Caruso, or sometimes I just got to go down the street and I got to get some Marconi. And nothing wrong with Marconi.
It's a classic. It's a standard.
Yeah, he invented the radio and giardiniera. Isn't that wild?
I'm going to try a piece. Are you going to eat with me?
Yeah, of course. But I'm holding the box open. I'm a key mover here.
All right, this looks so spectacular. Don't want to drop any of this.
I mean, this is my endorsement here, is I'm still not sick of pizza, and if anyone should be.
So let's talk a little bit about that. You explained what Crust Fund Pizza is, and you've been on the show before, but hundreds of episodes have probably passed since the last time you were on. You made it your mission to not only learn how to do tavern pizza right, but really to perfect it. Like it wasn't just, I want to figure out how to do that. You really wanted to tame this beast.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you like get a new high. Like, I'm a middle-aged man, James. There's no shame in that. And sometimes you get a thing going, and you just become a real dad about it. And that was I've been a cook for a long time. I've been a writer, as you know. But man, when I got into tavern-style pizza in general, but really this, it was. You never know how deep the obsession's going to go. All you can do is kind of keep chasing it underground, and man, like I'm in Wonderland right now. It's been a good journey.
The crunch, or the cracker crunch. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is for real.
Look how thin this boy is.
Now you've said tavern a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference, for those listening and watching, between tavern and thin crust?
When I call it tavern, people in Facebook groups yell at me. Is mostly the difference. No, honestly, pizza has become, I called it thin crust forever. I didn't use tavern style until, probably the 2010s. But this is a good thing. Pizza has become more regional, even as our food system and our foodways have kind of like conglomerated into one big old like chicken finger slop. Pizza is proudly regional. Detroit, a big, reason for that. So we don't talk about thin crust and thick crust and deep dish and all this stuff. We talk about, Detroit and New Haven and, classic New York style and South Shore bar pie and, sourdough California pizza and all this great stuff because people want to know more about this particular kind of food. So if you're like me and you adapt to, hey, I'm going to tell you thin crust, and then you're going to ask me, is it like a bar pie? Is it a New York style? Mm-hmm. No. And it's a name where you don't have to answer 5 follow-up questions. And I'm very sorry that the guy with the backwards Oakleys from Homer Glen does not like this in the Facebook group that I'm in. But it's convenient, and it brings more people into the style, and it's welcoming. Like, the best thing you can do for a pizza style like this You get people in Austin, Texas to make it. You get people in Seattle to make it. I have been talking with a guy in Newfoundland who has put this on the menu at his shop. And you know what you do? You say, yeah, tavern style. I know what you're talking about. You don't go, well, when I was growing up, we only called it pizza, and we only had it when we were at this one bowling alley that's not been there for 40 years. Like, it's welcoming. It's a delicious style. This specifically, the square cut, the small pieces, you know, you gather around the bar, you gather around the bowling alley, you have it at a school dance. Like, this is the pizza of life in Chicagoland. This is the pizza of celebration.
This is the pizza of deliciousness. Yes. This is, I've had this before. I've had your pizza before. This is so stinking good. And it's all the elements. And the crust is an important part.
It is a style of balance, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, of course the nation's catching on to this, and we shouldn't resist it. We should celebrate it. If you want to call this My Little Pony : the pizza, man, I'm with it as long as you want to make it.
Mm-hmm. And the giardiniera is not too hot. I think that's important.
So there's a line, and I am a big spicy guy, but there's a line between this is hot and activating my spice receptors and like really letting me appreciate that vegetable sweetness. And, oh, this is just kind of a low-level tornado siren.
This is perfect. Tell me about the sausage.
So I would love to change this in the near future, but for now, I hand grind every bit of sausage that goes onto Crust Fund Pizza's sausage pizza, which is inconvenient because this Royko, this is what I saw the most of, 2-to-1, no joke.
Now, you taught me how to grind sausage many years ago.
Yes, over here in Uptown.
On stage, yes, you did. And I know that's a messy, not quick thing to do.
I know, but it's, you know, like, there are different schools of kind of pork sausage, and some use more fennel, and some use more pepper, and I mean like chili pepper, not black pepper. Some use more garlic, and I just like all of those. It's hard, even with like all the great butcher shops in town we have, and I'm not giving them short shrift, to get exactly the thing you want for one thing. Like, they're making Italian sausage that is great for a lot of things. I don't want that. I want Italian sausage that is great for this pizza that I'm making. So for now, I make the sausage for every single thing in a big old batch, and I vacuum seal it to keep it around as long as I can. But this one was just made on Monday.
Sausage is the best ingredient for pizza, isn't it?
That's so good.
I mean, you can enjoy lots of ingredients, but you can agree that sausage is...
We're the only city that doesn't do pepperoni first. You know, we go sausage. And, you know, I love pepperoni, too. It's a cured meat. I am a champion of the form. But sausage pairs well with so many things. I mean, sausage will hydrate mushrooms into something amazing. It will pair with peppers and cut, you know, a little bit of that spiciness with some richness. And the spiciness will cut the fattiness. It plays well with just so many things. Like, it will take on a sauce that is either complementary or contrasting. Like, you know, this is not the Union Stockyards, you know, through a time tunnel paying me to say this. This is just my opinion as a Chicagoan.
And pepperoni can go wrong so quickly on pizza.
Yeah.
Too greasy, or if it gets too cooked, it becomes like a little cup of grease on top of the pie.
That is the thing. Cup and char was for a little while, you know, and it's good because it's very, you know, porky tasting and the texture is interesting. But for a while, places were only using cup and char. And
I didn't know that was a thing, cup and char.
Yeah, it's the natural casing contracts as it cooks, and so it makes a little grease cup for you. And it's delicious. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But, like, any one ingredient that gets so popular that, like, you can just go everywhere and they use it, like, you just start to sand off some of the rough edges of, like, having a new experience. I love hot honey, but hot honey is everywhere.
Yes. And things like that, ingredients like that, are why I carry around a Tide pen.
Yeah. Because you like a couple dots on the pizza?
I do. Just to punch it up a little bit. Yeah. So you've been doing this now since the pandemic.
August 2020.
We're almost 5 years into this. Is this a business, or is this all like, how are you funding this?
I am lucky enough that people will support my books, including inviting me to eat in a car. And, we take what we can take in from, I never make people pay for the pizza. That's the thing. That's the number one, right? The pizza is always free. You pay a charity. Like, you get your tax donation, too, Like,
That's very
if you're
true.
itemizing, like, that's all you. People ask me, like, how much do you take in? I say, I don't really take in anything. But these books, I do. I have to print them. I have to pay for them. Those do have to get paid for. I'm not like, made of paper. I'm not,
or binding.
Yeah. So it's kind of that. It cost me money to do this.
Yeah.
But, I kind of frame it like this. Like, well, I don't like golf. Like, I'm not a car guy. If I was going to get into a weird middle-aged thing where I was spending my money, like, at least a little bit of good comes out of it. You know what I mean?
Have you considered getting into records? That's a good middle-aged thing to get into.
I have 3 kids. So if there's a flat surface, including, like a turntable,
yeah,
like I'm just going to get a Barbie foot on that thing. And I don't think...
Or a Lego piece or...
Yeah.
Yeah. No, been there.
I probably got a Lego piece in my sock right now. I don't even know. It's a silent killer.
This is crazy because we are behind your home. Mm-hmm. This is like a Stefan bit on SNL. Like, the hottest restaurant in Chicago isn't actually a restaurant. It's not a brick and mortar location.
Dude, I got up early the other morning and there was a skunk coming through the alley. I had never seen a skunk before. We got skunks. We got squirrel chewed recycling bins. We've got neighbors who are like, "What the fuck is happening?"
One of my favorite things about the book is one of the earliest things in the book. You've got the blurbs or the praise for Crust Fund Pizza. Mm-hmm. Again, the new book right here.
You got to accept your laurels. I mean, as a leader in the alley space, I have to accept that. Like when people say like really amazing things, like I got to put them up in there.
Some great quotes in here. Still drunk with power, Mike Sula, Chicago Reader. Mm-hmm. An actual customer said this alley looks like the start of a Dateline episode. I actually think this is one of the nicer. This is a nice North Side alley. I've seen worse in Chicago. I don't feel like we're at risk here.
No, I made him put out the barrel fire before you came because I'm a good host.
But my favorite one on this entire list is the last one. I guess you're a writer. This is the punchline to the page. So, how long are you going to do this, Emily Carruthers?
Oh, I am just married to the best woman in the world.
Because you've turned your home into a charitable business pizza-making empire.
So there's a little bitty room that I think a lot of Chicagoans have in the basement where, like, the gas meter,
Oh, yeah.
and, like, they come read it. And that's now got a stainless steel prep table. It has a full-on, like, big boy deli slicer. It has a commercial dough sheeter. It has a RoboCoupe. It's a lot. Like, I realize I'm a lot.
That was with Peter Weller, right?
Yes.
Why not start a restaurant? Because you've mastered pizza, you've figured this out. This is the Royko is delightful. Why not take what seems to be an obvious next step?
Well, the most important thing, so why Crust Fund started at all, why I started really falling into the pizza hole at all, is because, when we all had to stay home for 2 weeks, which is really funny in retrospect, we need something to do, and I had 2 choices. I could either make pizza with my family every Friday, which we had kind of been meaning to do, as busy working people who didn't always have Fridays with the kids, or I could take a crudely fashioned knife and carve hash marks into the wall, like the Count of Monte Cristo. And we're like, well, let's try the pizza thing first. And so we did it, and it was really doing it every week that dialed me in, that got me, the muscle memory and the confidence to do it. And credit where credit's due, Derek Tung at Pauly G's was a foundational dude and saying, like, no, this is good. You can do this. You can, sell this to people. It's worth it. Anyway, now 5 years later-ish, all the wildness that has happened. I do get offers to open places. I have since, I think, maybe December 2021. But it's not easy to run a restaurant. I have a lot of friends in the restaurant industry, and it's hard.
It's a 24-hour job.
It really is,
and the margins suck. And it's I know all the reasons.
And it's not that. And I love being in a kitchen. I love doing service. I love everything about cooking and food. But the kids are very young, and I would kick myself if I spent all this time where at this adorable age where they still believe most of what I tell them, away. So no restaurant for now, but I will, invite any podcaster with a decent car setup to the alley,
Well, and here's proof that you and I are close. You signed the book for me.
I did.
There it is. Thank you, John.
I mean, I meant for playing Monkey Wrench that one time I called into Q101 in 1995.
I got a secret. It was already on the playlist. It was already there. Yeah.
What have we done with innocence?
Yeah. So this cookbook, this charity cookbook, Super Pizza World, it feels like, and you do that whole church cookbook binding thing. Mm-hmm. This feels like it's meant to be read more like a magazine than a book, or more so than like a cookbook you'd pick up and gravitate toward a picture and zero in on something.
So I'm really into, the recipes, of course. Like, I am a big fan, like we said earlier, like of other people making the style, spreading it out, making it not just
taking another piece. I know what you're.
Not just a concept that people hang on to, but something that we spread around and improve on each other, and like you make it a style like Detroit that everyone loves. But what I'm really fascinated with is the stories behind the cooks and the recipes and everything else. Like, there's so much that happens in a life, between, whether it's a regular dinner or something fancy or opening an alley pizza restaurant in your garage. That's the interesting part to me. Like, I understand at this age of being way too obsessed with stuff, most of the physical reactions of how things work and why they work. Like, I want to know about the people making things, and I want to know about the stories that went into things, and like the weird stuff, the ephemera is the best part. Though,
as we get older, I am much more interested in the behind the scenes of everything.
Because, good recipes exist for almost everything.
Right.
Good stories, they're fewer and far between. So
I've got to interrupt you one more time.
Yeah.
I feel like the easiest thing to fuck up on your pizza is something you do masterfully well. The crust, the char on the crust.
Oh, yeah. You got to do it well done style.
But, there's got to be a point of no return that's really easy to cross.
You'll know when you taste it. And I got to give, so my co-author on this book, and he designed everything, laid out the typography, Zach Sherwood, like an amazing, masterful designer, like a globally rated guy. He has this amazing piece in the first book, Super Pizza World, that I think we had an episode on, where he talks about how some places do not do the bake well enough to where you have to tell them to like put it in the old oven, especially if you go to like an Aurelio's like franchise or chain, or like another Home Run Inn or something, where it's all very kind of prescribed, where you have to be like, can you do it in the old oven, or can you do it well done, or whatever. I'm a big proponent that like well done should be default.
Yeah.
Super charred, not burnt, but like crispy, delicious. Like, you look at guys like Pizza Michi, Kim's Uncle, Middlebrow, and like the people who are not in the know about pizza on like Reddit or Instagram or whatever will be like, oh, I don't like burnt pizza. And I'm like, well, you've never had what is depicted here, because if you would, you wouldn't be talking out your butt.
It's masterful. Sorry, I completely derailed you, but I wanted to say it while it was top of mind.
I probably wasn't saying anything worthwhile anyway. I'm going to get another piece too.
So I was talking about the appearance. Let's talk a little bit, before we get into the recipes, let's talk about the approach. Mm-hmm. The Super Pizza World approach, the video game type concept. Mm-hmm. That's fun, but I think what jumped out at me was the almost Mad Magazine approach to sidebar content. Fake ads, a little bit of creative writing happening here.
So with Pizza for Everyone, I was like, maybe, and this was just a miscalculation on my part, I'm like, maybe I could do like a church bulletin does, because I spent a lot of time in Catholic Church, shout out to St. Pat's in McHenry, Illinois, just staring at anything that was mildly distracting. And you look at that, and like there are these little square ads where it's like, it's not form, like the function of each of these ads has to subsume to form. Mm-hmm. It's wherever we can shove this stuff to pay a little bit of the freight, for this publication. And you see this in some of the old, spiral-bound cookbooks and all that. But I was like, oh, maybe we can do this, because I thought I would be printing 100 of these things and sitting on 70 of them for a long time. And no. But with the first one, like it was a mix. Like we did some fake ads in spaces that weren't really good for selling, and then we sold a lot of stuff too. And then I just enjoyed the fake ads so much that I'm like, and the first book had been funded so well that I'm like, we're just going to fund the book through crowdfunding. And we'll just have an entire fake ad department. So, my brother, who's almost his entire adult life, an agency guy, and Lillian Stone, who is now like the editor for Children's Time in Brooklyn, but used to be a few blocks away neighbor, one of the funniest, most amazing writers I've ever met, has stuff in McSweeney's and The Onion and all that. I was like, will you guys please just get weird with it, and we'll pretend that it's ads. And that's this whole second book is just fake ads by the two funniest people I know.
Brilliant. And the contributor list, no surprise, great contributors. You mentioned Derek Tung, former Car Con Carne guest Seth Zurer, also Natalie Slater, proud vegan.
Incredible vegan. Also, one of the most talented artists and comic creators I know of, local boy Ryan Brown. Dude, I can't believe I got Ryan Brown to do that.
I haven't... The last time I talked to him or interviewed him, he was just Ryan Brown, the comic creator. Now he is God.
10,000 G or 1 billion, 2 billion G's.
One of the most brilliant books I've read in the past 15 years.
Butchering his most successful property, but he is an amazing creator. I know him from my time just going to C2E2, both as an employee of Revolution and before.
Just Artist Alley,
and he's just a cool guy. We initially bonded because he was wearing a Hanshin Tigers hat. And it's because he had gone to a baseball game in Japan. That's where all these Cubs that you talk about 4 beers deep used to go after they washed out of the major leagues. Matt Merton is still the king of Japan, and we became friends off that. And I was like, part of doing something like this is pushing the envelope on asking people for favors. So I was like, hey, Ryan Brown, who's gonna have a friggin' show on Amazon, do you want to give me free art for this so we can write some charity checks? And he did the most amazing piece. Don't show it on here. Make him pay for it.
That's right. And that said, where can people get this?
They can get it really so there's 2 places. This is self-published. There is no ISBN number. You can get it at Buddy Chicago in the Chicago Cultural Center, where a giant portion of the proceeds goes to help local Chicago artists monetize and sell their art and support just the art community in Chicago. You can also do it at Now Serving in Los Angeles, a cookbook-only store run by just the most amazing
in Los
family.
Angeles.
Mm-hmm. They're just friend of a friend of a friend. You make the weirdest connections, even if you only stay in an alley.
So, okay, if you want a hard copy of this book, if you want a copy period of this book, you've got to go downtown to the Cultural Center.
They'll ship it to you. You can buy
it.
You just buy it. It's got the phone thing where you just point your big dumb face at it, and they'll just ship it to you.
Perfect, because I was going to say that might be tough for some people.
Yeah,
but no, that makes it easy.
That's good. They're a delightful team there. Kim, runs the program. But if you can go to the Cultural Center and browse in there, when I drop off new books, because I always reorder because they're an amazing client, I never get away without just buying a bunch of stuff. They had some really cool warehouse, some warehouse merch,
Yeah.
Just this imagined kind of 70s and 80s Chicago warehouse merch.
Oh yeah, I love all that
so
stuff.
Good.
All of it.
There's great publications, there's great art, there's great gifts, and there's a free museum around there. Plus, not for nothing, free and easy public bathrooms in downtown Chicago.
So the book, there's the video game concept. The contents of the book are levels of a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza Paradise, Vegan Valley, the Secret Sauce level,
mm-hmm.
Dessert Desert.
That was just sad.
Someone enjoys wordplay, Cocktail Cove, and of course contributors. There are lots of goofy, or on paper, goofy recipes
mm-hmm.
and traditional stuff. Let's talk about the goofy stuff. White Castle pizza.
Oh man, so White Castle, and I'm not elevating myself to this pantheon, but I know a lot of people who swing a big stick in Chicago food now. Really good people who I just implicitly trust with food, who out-of-towners will come and seek them out for a meal when they go. And for a while, my love of White Castle was a little hidden thing, being the only kid the only kid at a jam band high school who likes Slayer. But as I have opened up to the world,
agree though that White Castle is okay if you don't do it all the time? It's kind of like heroin, I guess.
This is what I'm getting to.
Yeah,
I love it because I'm an alien boy. Give me those big onions. The fries are fine if you get them right out. They're kind of a variable.
Yeah, no.
But their product, the sliders, are reliably delicious, and that is like the core of everything. But like I talk to these people now who I know who are like getting shortlisted for the Banché or the beers, and like I'm always like I'm like, hey, I've had several of the free drinks at this sponsored event. What do you think about White Castle? And they're all like, nah, dude, White Castle's good. Akahoshi Ramen, like the hottest place, California Avenue, Logan Square. The ramen that everybody lines up for, that like you cannot get into. Talking to one of the cooks there, she was like, hey, yeah, my first job was at White Castle. And she mentioned this unprompted, and I was like, so what do you think about it? And she's like, oh, I still eat there. She's like, the breakfast stuff is fresh. Place is the cleanest it's ever been. Like every place. She's like, one of the cleanest places I've ever cooked in. It's great. They're not franchised, James. There's no dummy with like a car wash business and a cocaine problem dragging down the food standards. White Castle corporate's like, hey, we're going to give you burgers. They're going to be stinky, but they're going to be clean.
That's fantastic. White Castle, to me, again, it's like maybe once or twice a year, and it's usually post-concert.
Yeah.
Like on my way home, if I'm going past like Addison and Elston, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, when I was still at the brewery, if people wanted to come to our barrel age releases, the deal was, yes, you can drink for free and I'll get you in. But you have to eat in with me at White Castle. We got to sit in that booth together and share a little vitamin C graduation moment.
That makes sense. Crunchwrap Supreme, while we're on the fast food topic.
Yes. A Crunchwrap, is maybe the perfect Taco Bell delivery system. There's a fun and heartwarming story behind this, though. Young Choi, the author, was a day one, August 2020 customer of Crust Fund Pizza. And in the time, between that first one, like he's not only become a contributor, but and this was something he brought me one month. And then when I was writing this book, I'm like, you got to write that up. That's good stuff. We have just become friends. Like he knows my sisters and my brother and my wife. He did a great fundraiser, for the Cami Can Foundation, and like my whole family, like some of them came through Indiana. We went to his thing. Like, great dude, and like that's the power of LA Pizza. We are connecting people.
Well, that's the power of a successful DIY venture. I've made a lot of friends just from doing this podcast. Yeah. Same thing, like people who I hang out with who maybe I just did an interview with at one point. It's just this a great way to make connections because that's shared interest. And
we're in here, it's like you're making friends like guys who serve in the Navy, like always keep in touch with the guys around the submarine with.
That's exactly right. You talked about distribution system. In this book, the new book, there is a drawing of your Garage Alley Pizza.
Yeah, by Ryan Duggan, one of the best gig poster guys in the game.
Pretty amazing.
I don't know where I got the stones to ask half the people in this thing to do something for it.
Well, you've got the charity angle.
That is true. That's also, if anyone ever criticizes my people, I can pull the wounded and aggrieved bit. Like, it's all a strategy, man.
You address pineapple on pizza. This to me is a manufactured controversy, no different from ketchup on a hot dog, but you address this.
Yeah. I love pineapple on a pizza. I don't eat it all the time, but like, A, my kids love it, and if you want to come after my kids, I'll like tear your face off. But B, like, have a little creativity, like roast it or glaze it or use that pineapple powder that the lifting bros do and let it hydrate with the pineapple grease. Like, there are no failed ingredients. There is a failure of imagination after a certain point, but we are in an era where our phones are built and engineered to divide us. Pineapple, the best example of it, really. I can't think of anything else that divides us harder than pineapple. Not anything in the world.
Not anything. Not a one. While we're on the topic, fruit pizza gets a moment in here.
Oh, that's such a great one. So when I talk about the stories behind the recipes, like this Cam Warren, one of the best cooks in the city. The culinary director at Honey Butter, who, you can't have a bad meal there.
Nope.
Becca, his wife runs Tribeca's, down on Belmont, another amazing place, incredibly creative, turn themselves into a fake Taco Bell for April 1st, like, incredible. And he writes this great thing just about, like, how sweet it was that, like, this was this treat that his mom made him, and, like, the pure joy of someone you love making you the exact thing you want, and they're doing it too, and they're excited because they want to make it for you. Like, it's a great recipe, but, like, God, the vibes in that, like, I got the chills just telling you about it.
Yeah, this is a great read. This isn't a typical cookbook by any measure. It is a great read, but there are great recipes and thoughts in here as we're eating this Royko pizza, which is so good. And I don't know how I'm doing this, John. I've been very measured. I haven't scarfed this down. I've resisted my inclination to just be an animal on camera. I'm trying to be low key. But Dennis Lee has a recipe for sausage and giardiniera meatballs.
Yeah. Dennis Lee, like, he's like the guy, like, knows everybody in every kitchen, like, is a great writer, great recipe developer, great cook, but, like, just a great ambassador for Chicago food. Like, the most accessible, friendly dude who, like, uses vulgarity to make you comfortable with, like, concepts of, like, trying a new cuisine or reaching out and not being afraid of, like, screwing around in your kitchen. The most talented guy I know who puts on zero airs to make the rest of us just enjoy food so much better. Like, can't say enough good things about the dude.
Jesse Valenciana.
Don't like him.
Yeah, I know.
Don't like him. Don't tolerate him.
Your former life partner, Jesse Valenciana, contributes the most Chicago thing in here, really, the pizza puff.
Yeah. He makes a great pizza puff. So Jesse, my old writing partner, my old cooking partner, down in Nashville now, like, on the food beat full time. He runs the same way I do in terms of memory, where it's like, yeah, you remember that thing we used to eat thoughtlessly? Like, that was great. Like, let's do it even harder than we used to before as our bodies age, and there are no drawbacks to this. Same thing with, like, Adam Witt, an amazing content creator, did the Bosco stick. And this is, like, a very specific what food service company did your Chicagoland high school have. But, like, the Bosco stick, like, was the only thing we had. We were a balkanized high school, like everyone was in a less accepting time. Like, the jocks and the nerds and the metalheads and, everyone else.
Which were you?
But I was the guy who was the president of Future Alley Purveyors of America.
No,
it was a niche. It was a little one.
No, were you a theater guy? Were you like a student government guy? Were you?
No, I was. I got my growth spurt right before 9th grade, so for a few years I was a football guy, and then when everyone else's genes caught up, I was debate team for the last year. But anyway, it's like, you had all these really, like, if you put it in a movie now, people will be, that's not realistic, it's very segmented. Like one of those high schools, and the only thing we all loved was Bosco sticks. Like, you would have to line up for almost your entire lunch period for Bosco sticks from the cafeteria on Bosco stick day, because we only had it once a month. And, like, you would get them and, like, start eating them, and the bell would ring, and you would just, like, house the other ones like a trash raccoon. It was the most efficient sodium and lactose delivery system I've ever met. And honestly, like, I can buy them at Restaurant Depot now, but I don't, because I want to have that memory, and I want Adam's amazing interpretation of it, because, like, he had the same thing in a different high school. And, we're just creating a neural net of wonderful memories.
Now, you did pivot away from Jesse. Any thoughts on the pizza puff?
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, Jesse makes a delicious pizza puff. I prefer when I see him and he makes me one. But so we had a little bit of reciprocity with this. He just came out with the book Birrias, just like that delicious braised chili-based stew and I gave him a couple recipes for his. He gave me the pizza puff for mine. But Jesse's is another just wonderful read, because, I can't really judge it from outside my perspective, but he bases the recipe, like, on not just the actual transaction of eating it, but our friend and the late Rick Linus, who was a big guy in the local music scene and the merch scene. Just a wonderful guy, like, just died way too soon. A heartbreaking thing.
Yeah.
A wonderful husband and father. And Jesse and he just used to scrounge change and go to the the Plush Pup in I want to say Norwood Park for pizza puffs. And, like, you know, Zach's illustration of it is, like, really cute and just very evocative based on the design, like these two guys hugging, and then, like, the recipe is impeccable. Like, the whole thing is bulletproof. Like, you can write a great recipe and put it in a thing like Modernist Cooking and measure every part of it, but, like, you can't replace the heart. And, I can't even ask people to do that. I just asked the people I thought had the heart, and they delivered.
I love it. The people you know are creatives, and they're great in the kitchen, but they're creative. Malort, as we talk about Chicago stuff.
So this is a weird little lost chapter. So, you know, the Mambq thing with Jesse for a while. I had, you know, I was big, you know, 6.5 years plus at Revolution. Gosh, it's gonna be 5 years of Crust Fund this summer. But in between, like, leaving one job and going to another, just one time back when Twitter was still a tolerable place, the Tribune, Nick Kindlesberger, like, amazing local writer, was like, wrote an article just like, hey, most places don't hand dip corn dogs anymore, which is a shame because, you don't, if it's just kind of this bread coating, like, you're missing that blistering, the popping, the texture, the crunch. Yes. And I knew that I had a couple weeks off. And I was like, well, what if I sold them off? Do you think if I sold them off my porch, the city would figure it out in time to stop me? And I was joking, but a friend of mine was also like, yeah, let's do this. And then Nick jumped into, I think it was Nick and Louisa Chu jumped into the DMs like, wait, are you really doing this? And I was like, well, now? And so this was my first thing in inviting strangers to the place where I, pay a mortgage. And it got huge. I think I released 50 tickets and then 100 tickets and then 250 tickets to the point where I just had to stop when my wife started getting alarmed. Yeah. And I emailed everyone the secret menu. We got a write-up in the Tribune, in the food section, and we made, I had a good recipe, but you're not prepared to scale the stuff in your kitchen notebook for 250 people. So I looked up, and our textiles pay for this, so it's free, the U.S. Army Quartermaster's Manual, where you are supposed to, it's really just a system of calorie delivery to people in basic training, multiplied by hundreds. And I took my recipe and I kind of put it through this formula, and I borrowed one of those crawdad boil things, but filled it with peanut oil instead. And we just had and I was calling my friends. I'm like, look, something's gotten out of control. Would you like to cook corn dogs with me? Would you like to do this with your own time that you never asked for? So we did it, and it was great. But my brother at the time was living in Madison. He's like, oh, do you want me to bring down Spotted Cow for this thing? I'm like, yeah, because we were doing this all for the Chicago Food Depository. Yeah. So I was like, well, yeah, and I'll sell the alcohol since I'm in for a penny and for a pound with the unlicensed operation. And then Doug, bartender, I don't know where he's at now, but he was at Pippin's downtown. He was at Nisei Lounges is how I knew him. Was like, do you need me to bartend for this? And I'm like, yes, but if you do, we're going to do liquor too. We're going to do Malort infusions, because if I'm selling illegal beer, might as well sell illegal liquor. The courts are going to see this the same. And so the whole thing was pirate themed. It was called Captain Corn Dog, because it was a pirate operation. It was very illegal. We're set sails on the seas of public opinion. And so we did pirate-themed infusions. So, sport peppers are a preserved fruit, suitable for a long sea voyage. We did salt beef, which is that salted kind of corned beef thing. We did limes, to prevent scurvy. Naturally. Yeah, I worry about my customers. And then Doug was getting the salt beef and the limes and the thing at the store, and he was texting me. He's like, they sell beef blood here. Do you want some? And I'm like, how much? And he goes, well, they sell it by the gallon, but it's really cheap for a gallon. And I said, yeah, let's do the fourth one will be beef blood. And so people are presented with this wild choice. Do you do the oily beef and the beef blood first, and then have the sport pepper and the lime, which are quite pleasant in Malort terms? Do you, 1, 2, 3, 4? Do you? Because the rule was you could buy a flight of Malort, but you had to buy the flight. You couldn't buy just the sport pepper. You couldn't buy just the lime. I'm not running a charity here.
This is like the adult version of Harry Potter jelly beans.
Yeah. And so, Doug showed up, and I was like, hey, how much beef blood did you do that? And he's like, well, we don't really have a formula for this in bartending. I poured it in until it started to look upsetting, and then it was done. And I said, that's good stuff. And he cooked it to 180. It was food safe, and then strained out anything that coagulated at 180. So we were left with something that was quite rusty looking. It looked like a beverage. I don't know if you play that video game Silent Hill. It was like Silent Hill color. But if you're okay with iron, it was quite pleasant.
I bet.
But like it made the sport pepper and the lime, both of which I advocate for as Malort infusions, absolutely sing.
You do advocate for those.
I think look, if you're gonna mess with Malort, you can't just say it's like a thing to be endured. I find it bracing. I find it bitter, but like as you
Aren't we
get
all?
older, you like bitter things. Yeah. As I age increasingly. But the sport peppers they make magic in there.
That's interesting.
And lime makes it kind of good. Pineapple is also very good, and I probably would have picked that if Doug hadn't rattled my cage about beef blood. But it's like we were playing in there, selling illegal liquor. Like, how many modern day bootleggers have you had in this car? I can't imagine it's too many.
You're it. You're absolutely
Excellent.
it. One thing I appreciate about this book, the last book, you have no problem sharing the recipe, like sharing your secrets, passing it on.
People put a premium on information like this, and not to dive too deep into my own nerd wormhole, is why Detroit pizza wasn't a big thing until recently, because from its invention, like through the 2012 triumph at the World Pizza Expo in Vegas, it was really just the people who invented it and the people who worked there and started their own places just trying to keep secrets from each other and share nothing, to the point where like Michigan people thought it was the greatest thing in the world and everywhere else had no idea where it was.
Right.
Like, not until the wall of information had been broken down and we could all take a little bit of ownership of it and carry it along, like, did it become a national thing. So, like, with Tavern-style, like, we're not going to make the same mistake that Detroit did. We are going to push this hard as soon as we can. It is. It should be. I mean, nothing I do is special. Like, you mentioned this. We are not in a delicately appointed dining room right now. We're in the alley, any one of thousands of alleys in Chicago. If a guy in an alley can do this, anyone can, and I think they should.
I love that. And I say that about podcasting, too. Yeah. Like, if anyone wants to know, I will tell them exactly how to get started. Yeah. I don't think it's anywhere near as difficult as making a delicious pizza, but, like, figure out, the more people who do this shit, the better we all are.
Yeah. The more creative we are and the more obsessed we are with creating, the less we're reacting to each other's stuff on social media, which is, frankly, the bane of my existence.
I need it, but there are times when I'm like, if I just walked away altogether, would that be okay?
Well, no, the reacting to content is great. The reacting to other people's opinion on anything in the comments, like, miss me.
Oh, yeah, no. I learned that a long time ago. I like temptation. Nope, I'm going to let that one sit and just not even...
Oh, can I old man you for a minute?
Yeah.
All right. So, I am proudly letting the world pass me by. I'm not gonna buy myself, a Camaro and get some hair plugs and all this stuff. But what I will do, in my advancing age and my graying beard, is just rage against the concept of, like, call it on like Chicago food Reddit, which I mostly like, or any social media, is the concept. I can swear, right?
Yeah.
Fucking, like, mid is the biggest, laziest shit stain of a thing. Like, oh, that's just mid. Like, I had the pizza, it was mid. I got into Kasama, it was mid. And I'm like, all it's saying is, like, oh, like, I got a thing and I don't have any creativity or actual input, but, like, I want you to know that the people who create something are not worthy of me, who just sits here and, like, barks at it.
That is an enraging word.
It is a small dog barking at a big world, but, like, that's just the slang term for it.
Well, whatever the next level up from mid is, that's what this pizza is.
Mid plus. Excellent. I'll take it.
It is a strong mid plus. Super Pizza World is the new book. Chicago Cultural Center is where you can order this if you're in the Chicago area, which most of the people who watch and listen
They'll ship it anywhere.
They'll ship it anywhere. It's just a fun read. At its core, if you have no inclination to cook or bake or do any of this, cool, you're still going to enjoy this book. Now, if you want to cook and bake, you're set for the next couple of years with ideas and creativity in this thing.
And surprisingly, again, it's an if I can do it thing.
So I'm going to ask you, John Carruthers, marketer, are you still doing all the Crust Fund Pizza stuff off your personal Instagram?
Yeah. I mean, some dong registered Crust Fund Pizza once, and I thought it might have been me when I was drinking, and it wasn't. And like follows like some sports betting websites, so I knew it wasn't me. And so like I sent a DM, and I was like, do you want something for this? And then I did the account recovery, which I knew would text him. And nothing happened, so I'm like, what are you gonna do? And I contain multitudes. It's at Nachos and Lager. I like nachos. I like lager. I'm not just a pizza man. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting question for you, former Revolution marketing person, beer aficionado, man BQ guy. I love a good lager. I'm perfectly fine with a nice, crisp, refreshing macro beer. Is that wrong?
No, I am a high life man through and through.
Okay.
Yeah, no, as my sainted mother, world's biggest Miller Lite supporter. Not in a sad way, just like in a, like a good Miller Lite, a good pour at a bar. It's great.
I realized I was at a restaurant. I was at Small Bar recently, and I had their smash burger, which I think is delightful, and I had a hams with it. I'm like, oh, I think I like hams.
Hams is legit. The first time I went to a game in Green Bay, I went to go see the Bears play the Packers. I was like, I got excited at the concession because they were selling the 19.2s of hams, and I was like, and I think they thought I was being shitty, and I was like, they were like, what? Like, and I was like, no, they got hams. Like, I can get a hams, and they're like, and I'm like, oh, you don't understand like how terrible Chicago concessions are, I guess, because like, it was with Aramark or Levy Brothers, or no, it's Levy Brothers. We have a podcast about that. It's like I just wanted like a good domestic lager and
something
a big
from
can.
the land of sky blue waters.
Yeah, man.
Uh-huh.
I don't want some sort of a mid-range IPA sat in a hot room for 7 months. Like, give me something from the land of sky blue waters.
This makes me happy to hear, because I think I come into a conversation like this expecting you to be a beer snob.
No. So there's this kind of distribution curve when you first get into beer, and it's like, oh, man, I really like a cold Miller Lite on my porch. And then, it ramps up, and you're like, oh, I do like a German Kolsch, equally refreshing, made with ale yeast. And hey, as my palate expands, the bitterness of an IPA, especially something made with a new school hop like Amarillo or Citra, has a nice sweetness to it once you get past the bitterness. And then you get up there and you're like, oh, and these barrel-aged beers just like, they're like 15%, but they're pretty fun. And these Saisons from Belgium have an amazing, kind of like floral and barnyard quality, and I'll accept nothing less than the best. And then the other side of this curve is when you start to crawl out of your own butt, and you still like all the things from the curve up. They're all great. But you're also like, hey, man, it'd be good right now with this slice of pizza or this delicious sandwich is a Miller Lite on my porch.
Oh, my God. There's no better thing with pizza than lager.
Yeah, and honestly, even situationally, if I go to a bowling alley and they do not have Miller Genuine Draft, I'm a little disappointed.
That is very disappointing. All right, John Carruthers, Crust Fund Pizza, Nachos and Lager is the Instagram account where we can find Crust Fund Pizza naturally. The new book is right here. It is delightful. Super Pizza World. Really, so much fun. And I know this is a ton of work.
Yeah, I mean,
just corralling contributors is a ton of work.
It is, and just the design. Like, everyone's got to see Zach's design on this. The typography, I mean, is incredible. It's the little things. Like, one guy designed all that. I do this all day. So, like, the words, like, that's a lot faster than making it look like he made it. You look at those chapter dividers, and he picked different buildings in Chicago and, like, pixelated and reproduced them. I mean, one of them is the pumping station over in River Park. And you wouldn't know that unless you were, like, super into it or just had this mind for design in Chicago like he has.
Yeah, it's great.
It's good, but it's, even the title speaks to my own creative bankruptcy. As a kid coming up in the 90s, all I knew about sequels was, they went from 8 to 16 bits and you had to put super in front of them.
That's exactly right. I don't think you're creatively bankrupt, but yeah, this is great stuff. This really is. Congratulations on getting this out. The pizza, the Royko, absolutely stunning.
Still looks good.
Oh, yeah. I know. There'll be more when the camera and microphone are off. Thank you, John. Congrats on all you've accomplished with this.
No, thank you for having me in the car again. It is a pleasure every time, and thousands of episodes. That's wild.
Hey, well, I think you can appreciate stubborn tenacity and just writing something out.
Yeah, no, it is. This is my thing, and you can pry it out of me in my coffin. I appreciate that.
We're similar tracks, two totally different models, but just this is what I'm going all in on.
Chicago. We lead the world in obsessions.
We definitely do. All right, this is Car Con Carne. I'm James. Thanks for watching and listening. If you like this show, tell a friend, tell a couple friends, share the stuff on social media. Also, Car Con Carne now has a brand new merch store, carconcarne.threadless.com. Yeah.